There are now no female leaders at Canada's big banks as CEOs. Last week, when RBC completed its acquisition of HSBC, the last female CEO, Linda Seymour, departed. This, of course, since Laurentian Bank's Rania Llewellyn was abruptly terminated in October, means that there are no female CEOs at our top banks. We have a CEO of one of Canada's largest credit unions, and she says this does not feel like progress. Jan Gilfoy is the president and CEO of Meridian, and she joins me now. Jan, thank you so much for joining me on a topic that I don't think you really did have to stick your neck out and talk about, but it is important to make that kind of commentary. And I'm curious about why you felt it was important to come. I mean, you don't want to, we will talk about Meridian, but you're really making this kind of an advocacy for the whole sector.
Yeah, well, I fundamentally believe that there should be gender equity in every industry, including banking. And so, have to think about half the population being women, half the population, bank at all the financial institutions. And I think that there should be women at the top of banking.
And we have, as I mentioned, we've seen that a little bit with Laurentian, with the head of HSBC Canada. And they are, there's a board chairs as well as CFOs. So we're not saying that, they're not there at the top echelons, but they don't have that top job anymore.
They don't have the top job anymore. And I think the other things that we're learning is that the succession pipeline in some of our largest financial institutions also doesn't have enough women in it. So I think there is an issue going on in terms of the amount of women that are in those top, that have the ability to get to those top roles. So I think that's what I was really calling out.
Yeah, pinpointing the issue is interesting. What would you say is the cause of that? Is it discrimination? Is it a type of corporate structure that is not conducive to advancing women, particularly if they have families?
Well, I think, one of the things that's different about credit unions is that we come from a different corporate structure, right? So we're cooperative. And I think if you look back in history of the credit union financial institution sector, it's been more open to diversity. It's part of our core values. And so it's part of the DNA of how we evolved. And many of the women, I think, who started getting into board work many years ago, a lot of them came through through organizations like Meridian because we believed it was important to have that gender balance. So I think it has to start at the top for sure. I think these are really challenging jobs. And, as I go around talking to younger women about how you get to executive level roles, including CEOs, they are high pressure, tough jobs, right? And so how do you create an environment that allows for women to thrive in that? So I think we have to be able to continue to focus on flexibility. That's one of the key things I think all families and parents need, but certainly women need. I think we have to keep looking for opportunities to look for skill sets that maybe are not the traditional skill sets that men have, gone and developed to become the CEOs that we see out there. And I think we have to be able to champion and make sure that we have people who want these jobs and going in with full understanding of how complex and high pressure they are.
I mean, I'm curious about how you put that into practice, because this all sounds good, but obviously we've been talking about this for so long and it's not manifesting in results. And as you said, we're in many ways going backwards. You say flexibility, and I think people here lower your standards, right? In a very competitive market where you can't afford that. So what does it actually mean? How do you see concrete examples where you can be flexible without lowering standards?
Well, I think you set the standards in terms of outcomes. So you set ambitious goals, you set priorities, you set, the things that you're expecting, irrespective of where a person shows up to do their work. So, I do not believe that we have to all be in the same office. And in fact, not any organization, unless you're a super local organization, has like RBC does not just have one office. They have many offices across the country, right? So we have to learn how to work differently in order to enable the flexibility. Flexibility to me means, you know what your job is, you have a set of outcomes, you have a set of priorities, and you can demonstrate delivery. And if you can demonstrate delivery, for me, it doesn't really matter where you work. I think FaceTime is really important, and it's something that we are doing and making sure that we're ingraining that inside our organization. But if it works better for you is to work from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m., take a break, take your kids to school, do some more work from home someday, I think you get better performance out of that. I think people appreciate it, and I think it drives better performance. So I think flexibility is one sort of big piece that I think we learned through pandemic. We all had to do it. And then we all are not continuing down that path of learning about how do you make that effective? And Meridian is on a journey to try and figure out how do we make that effective without requiring everybody to, go back to the office, which we don't have just one of.